Hi, and welcome to the Modern Persian Food Podcast. We are food bloggers,
Bita or Avian,
and Bita Nazim Kelly, and we're here to share with you the rich flavors and fresh ingredients of Persian cooking and how to incorporate them into today's modern lifestyles.
We're excited to introduce you to the flavors, tastes, and techniques we use, and also our own cultural stories and perspectives growing up in the U.S. in a Persian family. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to episode number 48. This is Bita, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Bita. Hi, Bita June. How's it going?
Hi, Bita. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I am excited to talk about this week's topic, which is the juicy, flavorful, and unique fruit, the fig. I love figs, and I love eating them fresh. I like them dried. And also, I like them cooked as well. We could talk a little bit more about that. But what about you? Do you like figs? I don't think I ever asked you.
Yeah, figs are one of those things that you love or you don't. At least that's how I think about fig Newton cookies. I love fresh figs. But it wasn't until my sort of later adult life that I discovered that I love fresh figs because we didn't really have them available back when I was a kid growing up in the Midwest. They're probably plentiful. I would imagine that they are readily available today, but I'm an oldie. So I was introduced to fresh figs later when I became a Californian, and I do super love them. How about you? Do you like figs?
Yeah, I love them. I love fresh figs too. You know, the fig itself, for people who don't really know figs, they're the fruit that grows off of a tree. They're kind of like teardrop shaped, and they are either like green or they're like purple and like a dark, really beautiful color. And when you break them open, they're full of these kind of seeds. It looks kind of like stringy and alien-like in the inside of it. So it kind of has like a really unique look to it. And it can turn some people off if they aren't expecting it. And it has a soft consistency. And you can actually eat it with the skin on, or some people prefer to peel the thin skin off of it. So it's just like in the white membrane around the inside of the fig. And yeah, I love them so much. I really do enjoy them in any form, actually.
Yeah, there's technically, not to bore y'all, but there are technically 6 kinds of California figs.
Oh, wow.
And they come in different colors and sizes. And I think that my favorite way of getting figs is from my neighbor Candace's abundant trees.
Oh, I'm jealous.
She's so generous with her garden. And what she'll do is she'll take an empty egg carton and load it up with these huge, like bursting fruit. When they're ripe, they almost burst open. And they're so sweet. They need nothing on them. And I could just eat them. They are really delicious in just about anything, mixed into yogurt, with oatmeal. That's how I eat them in the modern day. Other times I'll put them on a cheese board. And if they aren't quite bursting ripe, I might drizzle a little honey.
That's a good call.
Yeah, and just serve them with like a nice manchego cheese. Put a fig on that with honey. Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe a walnut or some type of nut on a cheese platter.
Yeah, you make really beautiful cheese platters.
Oh, thank you.
You know, in Persian fruit bowls and things like that, figs can be part of that, or just have their own fresh bowl of figs.
Yeah.
They're definitely part of like Persian culture. Like, you know, when they're in season, Persians tend to really enjoy figs. Also in the dried form, we have them in the trailmix Ajeel. So that has different dried fruits. It has like raisins or mulberries that are dried, and also with like a variety of different nuts like almonds or cashews or pistachios, kind of like a little trail mix essentially that we call Ajeel. And Persian dry figs are just like actually really petite and very round. And usually they're very pale on the outside of them and a little bit chewy when you open it up. But you can also see like kind of Turkish dried figs. Sometimes they have them dried like on a string in a circular form. And those are really delicious too. And also just getting them from the grocery store dried is just like great as like a shelf-stable, energy-packed little snack. I kind of like you think of them like how I would have dates sometimes as like a little energy boost.
Totally. Yeah, they're a little hard or tough, I guess, is how I would refer to them, but a good little power pack of energy when you need it, and sort of expected in the unique Persian trail mix Ajeel, as you mentioned. But we are getting right about fig season in the farmers markets. Usually you can see a variety of them out here anyhow, where we are.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about experimenting with mixing some into a cookie recipe that I have, because they are also quite lovely when they're cooked, and kind of the aroma that it gives off with a little bit of Persian spice like cardamom. So I'm either going to mix it right into my cookies, or I might keep it as like a thumbprint and put the jam on top. I know you have a jam recipe. Have you made any variety of different kinds of jams with figs, or what's your preference? How do you like making fig jam?
Yeah, I love fig jam, and it's actually quite easy to make. And especially if you come across a bunch of figs, and sometimes they kind of all will be ripe at the same time. You know, it's a good option that if you have a bunch of figs and don't know what to do with them, that's one way. Or if you just want to savor the flavor of figs longer than the season. You know, these days you can definitely get figs out of season too, but really in season is when they're just like bursting with flavor. And you can make like a great jam with it. So my recipe actually keeps the fig in its natural shape.
So in your jam, you keep the integrity and shape. The fig is intact. It's a whole fig. It doesn't break down. So how do you do that? How do you not have the fig break down and mix and just become a bunch of seeds?
Yeah, what I do is you get the ripe fig and you prick it with like a toothpick, maybe 5-7 times, depending on how big the fig is, and you puncture a bunch of different holes in it. And then you put it all into a bowl and you cover it with sugar. And you let it sit covered in sugar for like 3, 4, 5 hours overnight even. Just let the sugar kind of like absorb into the figs a little bit. And then after that, you cook it down with water, adding a little bit of rose water and cardamom to really like amplify the Persian flavors. And then you simmer that until you cook it till it's ready. And it'll darken, the color will darken a little bit. And it's beautiful served for like breakfast. You know, when we talked about like Persian breakfast before and having like multiple types of jams available, it's really beautiful to have it like that. You can even like kind of put it on the side of a cheese board. You know, sometimes you'll put like quince paste, but you could definitely put like a little bit of fig jam on a cheese board too. And having it with like a little bit of Persian barbati bread, maybe a little bit of feta cheese, maybe some like really good quality butter, and really enjoying the flavor of figs outside of the regular season. Yeah, so hopefully people can have figs this season and enjoy them, and let us know if you end up making fig jam or including it in your recipes, and we'd love to hear about that.
Definitely. So Bita Junju, we have a question. Do our listeners have a question for the Ask the Beats segment?
Yes, we do. This week's Ask the Beats comes from Katie in San Francisco. Thank you, Katie. She asks, what is your go-to meal that you whip up when you have last-minute guests? So I think that's a great question because you never know. Hopefully you can have lots of visitors now that we're kind of hopefully getting out of the pandemic. What do we serve when we have guests and we want to incorporate Persian flavors and we want to be able to kind of whip that together? Bita, do you have any go-to recipes or foods or thoughts about what to do when you need food quick, last minute?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing is to grill or barbecue. I would probably check and see what we have that we could just throw on the grill. Keep it casual, get a pot of rice going or, you know, some rice in the rice cooker, and then throw together a salad. That's probably my easiest last minute meal to put together. How about you?
Yeah, that sounds delicious and easy to do. When I think about like if a last minute thing, if someone were to come over, I do think that rice can kind of be a great staple to the table. You know, coming from a Persian background, obviously, like rice is such an important part of our culture and our meals. I think the rice would be something that I could do pretty quickly. And I think that if I wanted to put like a full meal together, I'd probably throw some like lentils in with the rice and make like a adas polo, a lentil and rice dish. And I typically always have raisins and dates at home too. And usually we have onions. So I would probably caramelize some onions and add the raisins and dates and put that as like a topping for the adas polo and serve that. If I have some meat, I can cut up some chicken and include that in there as well. Or, you know, you can even throw a fried egg on that. We talk more about lentils in our lentil episode, but I think that if I had last minute guests and I hadn't prepared anything, I think that adas polo would be a great option to serve.
Sounds delicious. Bita June, did I tell you that I'm going to be stopping over soon
Yeah, anytime.
for some arroz polo?
Yeah, of course, anytime. I mentioned eggs. Sometimes it's like, when you are just trying to look for a last minute meal, like throwing some eggs, frying some eggs up is always kind of fun if you have some Persian bread on the side. Sometimes with dates, you can do it like I've mentioned before, the khorma malus, or even with like some fresh tomatoes, can make like a omelette is kind of what we would call that. Even if you want to like saute some spinach on the side and do that with some sunny side up eggs. You could have like a light lunch that way too.
Yeah, I would also add yogurt. If we're just doing what I had said, which is grilling with some rice and potentially a salad, just putting a bowl of yogurt out doesn't even have to have anything in it. It could be a side. It always goes well with rice. Could put some cucumbers and make a quick cucumber yogurt side dish, mostachiyar, or whatever you have, maybe beets.
Yep.
Maybe herbs. So yogurt is always a great, easy, fast side dish to have to complete a meal.
Good call. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Katie, for the question. And thank you, Bita June, for a fun episode on figs today. And hope everyone enjoyed listening. Thanks all.
So much fun. So inspirational, as always. Lots of fun. Thank you, Bita June. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Bita and Beata. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.